Good day, everyone. We are the Group 5 reporting about the cry of Katipunan in Balintawak of Masangkay's account. Cry of Rebellion referred to the phrase El Grito de Rebelión or Cry of Rebellion to mark the start of these revolutionary events, identifying the places where it happened, such as in Mexico it was the Cry of Dolores, September 16, 1810, Brazil, the city of Braga, September 7, 1822, and in Cuba, the Cry of Matanza, February 24, 1895, and in August 1896. Northeast of Manila, Filipinos similarly declared their rebellion against the Spanish colonial government. Manuel Sastron, a Spanish historian who institutionalized the praise for the Philippines in his 1897 book, La Insurrección en Filipinas. All these cries were milestones in several colonial to nationalist histories of the world. The Cry of Balintawak is our first milestone for change and major turning point in Philippine history. It is momentous event where the Katipuneros led by Bonifacio assembled in Pook, Kangkong in August 1896, tore up their cedulas as a sign of their loyalty to the Philippines and their hatred towards the Spanish government.
Guillermo Masangkay, one of the original member of Katipunan, designated to build the KKK in Cavite. His account contribute to our understanding of a cry of Balintawak and the death of Andres Bonifacio. Wishes to refute the first cry of rebellion was launched at a place called Pugadlawin and not in Balintawak, according to a document signed by Priscio Pantas, Cipriano Pacheco, and Pio Valenzuela. The Masangkay part of the dispute is divided in two parts, which are Part 1. Based on a preliminary draft of an article found in the Masangkay papers that was published in the La Opinion issue of December 6, 1929. Part 2. Based on a draft of an article is respond to a Valenzuela statement in the La Vanguardia that the cry of Balintawak did not take place on August 26, 1896. Teodoro Calao, a prominent Filipino historian, in his 1925 book, The Filipino Revolution, wrote that the event took place during the last week of August 1896 at Kangkong, Balintawak. Gregorio F. Saide, a Filipino historian, author, and a politician, stated in his book in 1954 that the cry happened in Balintawak on August 26, 1896. Soledad Borromeo Buller, the granddaughter of Guillermo Masangkay, a Katipunero who worked closely with Andres Bonifacio from the earliest day of Katipunan. She had her preparatory education at Centro Escolar University and received her bachelor and master's degree in history from the University of the Philippines. She was a member of UP History Department prior to her departure for the United States on a Fulbright Hayes scholarship and received her PDH in history from the University of California at Berkeley in 1972. She wrote about the Japanese and the Davao land problem on 1901 to 1941 for her master's thesis and the social and economic history of Cavite entitled El Cades Filipino, Spanish Colonial Cavite, 1571 to 1896. For her doctoral dissertation, she also helped resolve the controversy by analyzing eyewitness account and contemporary documents heretofore unquoted, misquoted, or misrepresented in her reconstruction of what transpired in Balintawak.
Masangkay felt violated when he read Jose P. Santos' article, Rectificaciones Históricas, published in the Spanish section of the Philippine Free Press on November 30, 1929. He felt that Jose P. Santos was bragging about his knowledge of the events that took place in the revolution when Jose P. Santos did not fully participate from the start and his facts were based on hearsay. Masangkay felt the need to correct the wrong allegations about the revolution, also because the article mentions his name and he has the right to assert his opinion. He insists that the cry of Balintawak, Pantas and Valenzuela fled in order to surrender to the Spaniards, while Pacheco was never there. It was there in Balintawak where Bonifacio and other Katipuneros tore up their cedulas as a sign of rebellion against Spanish sovereignty. Pantas, Valenzuela, and Plata opposed the uprising. While the assembly was held, the alarm was raised signifying the civil guards were coming. The first to flee in order to save themselves were Pantas and Valenzuela. For this reason, they could not have heard the supreme cry that launched the fight for the independence of the Philippines at the moment. Neither did they smell the gunpowder of the first shots. After submitting themselves to the Spaniards, they were deported. The revolutionaries were never in Pugadlawan. From Kangkong, Balintawak to Balara, where bloody encounters with the enemy took place. Masangkay does not understand Valenzuela's purpose in stirring up facts relative to the history of the Cry of Balintawak, exactly now when a commemorative monument has been erected, and in Balintawak, the first stone monument to honor Andres Bonifacio has just been laid. Masangkay to Valenzuela. Why did Valenzuela not make these corrections earlier, when the monument in honor of the heroes of 96 and the obelisk in Kangkong were erected? Everybody already recognized the importance of the facts of before, and for Masangkay, a correction is unnecessary and will only confuse the public in dishonor history. Second rectification. In the Cámara Secreta, there were only Andres Bonifacio, the father of the revolution, Emilio Jacinto, the brains, and Pio Valenzuela. No more, much less Guillermo Masangkay was a Katipunero only during the last days, or perhaps only when the idea of revolution has already spread in most of the country, which puts Masangkay in disbelief of this information, and names his comrade in arms, the veterans, Francisco Carreon, Pio H. Santos, and Isaac del Carmen, and other Katipuneros alive that can state that he was a member of the Cámara Secreta. Testaments of Thomas Remigio, one of the scribes of the Katipunan, preserved in the public library. The Testament of Remigio mentions the fact that Masangka is a member of the Cámara Secreta of the Katipunan. From Valenzuela, that night we slept in Bagobantay. We were 8. Andres Bonifacio, his brother Procopio, Emilio Cinto, Aguirre del Rosario, Enrique Pacheco, his sons, and myself. The following day, August 25th, we went to Balara. On August 27th, we went to Marikina, and from there, Pateros on the 28th, then to Binyang, Laguna. Masangka says it is a lie.
Masangkay's account by Valenzuela's statement was a lie. August 28, 1896, Dr. Pio Valenzuela presented himself at 8 o'clock in the morning before the Spanish Second Corporal, General Echaluche, and Don Francisco Olive, judge advocate during the early days of the Revolution of 96. On the same day, Katipuneros Hermenegildo Reyes, alias Talibong, Rafael Gutierrez, Francisco Varela, Vicente Molina, and others were arrested by the veterana because of Dr. Valenzuela's denunciations. August 28, 1896, Dr. Valenzuela denounced Jose Trinidad. September 1, 1896, he denounced Jose Toriano Santiago Sr., who was imprisoned as a result, and that same afternoon, Jose Toriano Santiago Jr. and Restituto Javier was arrested. September 16, 1896, Dr. Valenzuela also denounced Jose Dizon, an engraver at the Mint, Roman Ramos, a laborer at the Arsenal, Faustino Manyalak, Valentin Ligasca, Ramon Basa, Marcelo de los Santos, Eugenio de los Reyes, Mariano Masangkay is the brother of the undersigned, and Geronimo Cristobal, corporal of the regiment. All were imprisoned. Dr. Pio Valenzuela was used as state witness by a judge advocate Francisco Olive and by other judges of that regime. He presented a detailed memorandum that revealed the secrets of the Katipunan, specifically plans for revolution. His revelations were used by the authorities in the friars in the persecution and execution of Dr. Rizal in Bagong-Bagayan. According to Masangkay, some of the Katipunan cited who are still alive can confirm what he manifested above. Masangkay provided chronological notes of the event to avoid confusion with Dr. Valenzuela's false dates, so that Dr. Valenzuela does not go on changing dates. sadly confusing them for his own benefit. July 7, 1892, founding of the Katipunan. March 21, 1895, enrollment of Dr. Pio Valenzuela in the Katipunan. May 1895, Dr. Pio Valenzuela, assuming the name Procopio Bonifacio, was sent to the Dapitan to confer with Dr. Rizal. This trip is paid for by Mr. Francisco Castillo of Capiz. August 5, 1895, Dr. Rizal arrived in Manila. August 26, 1896, the first cry of Balintawak. August 27, 1896, Dr. Pio Valenzuela presented himself before the Spanish Colonel Francisco Olive, denouncing the Katipuneros. December 30, 1896, Rizal was shot down because of Dr. Valenzuela's denunciations. June 1897, Dr. Valenzuela was sent to Spain a Cuerpo del Rey in exchange for his valiant services given to the judge's advocates, the Veterana, the Civil Guard, and the Friars. 1899, Dr. Valenzuela returned to the Philippines, was arrested by Americans, and then much later was set free. Thanks for watching!